Another neat thing I can do here is between rounds I can change my deck. To be honest, I'm kind of tempted to change my deck a little bit here. Basically, I have 18 creatures, which is excessive. I might just want to use like a Deny Existence or a Convolute main deck. I think that makes more sense. Like, how good is Bloodbriar in our deck? Bloodbriar basically interacts with 3 cards, right? Our 3 emerge cards and nothing else. Nagging Thoughts is whatever anyway. We have 2 Delirium cards. So I probably, and even Traverse is like, it does let me search up my bombs, but I guess I have 4 Delirium cards. But Gnarlwood Dryad doesn't need Delirium. Survivalists definitely want it, but if you don't have it, it's not a big deal. So I could probably pretty safely cut like a Traverse or a Nagging Thoughts and a Bloodbriar. Even the Permeating Mass, although it just didn't pay it, even though it didn't pan out game 1, or match 1 rather, doesn't mean it won't pan out in the other matches. So maybe I just cut like a Traverse and a Nagging Thoughts and bring in Convolute, Deny Existence, bring in a couple counter spells. They can be big. What's good about counter spells in this deck is the amount of instant or flash we have, right? Because we have Deterrence, we have Grit, we have Fortune's Favor, we have Stormrider Spirit, and Elder Deep Fiend, and Drownyard Behemoth. So we actually have like a lot of ways to either leave up Counterspell or flash in Dude. I like that. All right, swapping the deck around a little bit. Let's see if this version works a wee bit better for us. We'll see in round 2. All right, round 2. Who won the die roll? And we'll play first. So yes, I realized that we took out our sorceries, which is going to make Delirium very, very difficult to get, because basically we have Artifact Creature, Instant, and this is the old build, and basically land off Fortune's Favor. So the chances of us getting Delirium are about slim to none. We're going to keep this hand, by the way. We basically just need 1 land, and it can do a lot. But I don't think that's a big deal. I think this deck doesn't need Delirium to win. It's a nice bonus with our Survivalists, but honestly, they're not bad. As 4 mana 4/3s, they're still completely acceptable. So here's the question. Do we play the Wicker Witch, or do we leave up the Convolute? Well, there's a bit of a dilemma. Can also play the Loam Dryad. I don't love that. I think we're going to leave up Convolute. I'm just going to counter the first spell my opponent plays. That way, if I draw a land, I can go Loam Dryad, Wicker Witch, and then Scarecrow follow-up. Well, geez. Sure glad I left that Convolute up. Holy jeez. All right. I see. All right. We'll go Wicker Witch. Blue-green artifact creatures. Opponent's having a real hard time deciding what to cast there. Solitary Hunter, sure. Elder Deep Fiend. So I can attack with Wicker Witch. I don't think my opponent blocks. It may actually be worth the bluff. But that's not a great bluff, because it looks like an aim high, which would make my Wicker Witch still die. And my opponent would probably be willing to do that. So I guess we just play Loam Dryad and pass. So I can play the Deep Fiend off the Wicker Witch now with the Loam Dryad's help, which is actually kind of nice. I probably should just do that. I actually wouldn't mind if my opponent flipped Hunter here, because that would open me up for a better Deep Fiend. Because the thing is, if I play Deep Fiend, I'm going to have to pass the turn and flip Hunter anyway. So if opponent attempts to flip Hunter, it really just makes me passing my turn and tapping down my opponent's lands that much more convenient. It does not appear to be the case, though. But I guess that does mean opponent's not going to swing with Hunter. They should have swung pre-combat. I really would have played around a combat trick there pretty easily. So now the dilemma is, do I want to flip my opponent's Hunter? Like, I can play the Geistfield Scarecrow, leave up the Wicker Witch, and it still kind of keeps his guys back. Like, he can swing with both, and I'll trade a Wicker Witch for a Fiendbinder. Otherwise, I have to flip my opponent's Solitary Hunter so I can play a Deep Fiend, which doesn't seem great. I could just play the Survivalist, but then my opponent can tap the Wicker Witch and just leave up the Survivalist to block the Fiendbinder, which I like that trade a lot less. But we're struggling for mana right now, which makes the Scarecrow so much more dangerous. I guess we're going to play the Survivalist. But I'd rather trade off a Wicker Witch than a Thraben Gargoyle. So I think our opponent is going to attack. And I think they're going to tap the Wicker Witch, forcing me to block a Survivalist on a Fiendbinder. But like I said, at this point, I'm just willing to do it. And once again, maybe my opponent does flip the Hunter. No attack still. Okay, good. Very good. Flip the Hunter. So now we can do our Deep Fiend play. We're still missing our land drops, though, which is awkward. So we'll pass the turn. We'll upkeep. Sack the Wicker Witch. Deep Fiend, and probably more white if they're running. I don't know. I honestly don't know. We can actually play 2 spells too, which is kind of convenient. We can go Field Creeper Quilled Wolf and flip this dude back. I mean, we've got our late game plan, right? We've got the Gargoyle and the Stormrider Spear. We're just in the market for some lands. Ah, okay. Are they going to try and race? All right. This actually isn't that bad. Like I said, we get to play 2 guys, flip his dude back, and smash for 5. Not so terrible. Permeating Mass, I see. Still think we're just going to swing with Deep Fiend. And we'll play the Creeper and the Quilled Wolf. And I still want the Gargoyle the most, I think, but maybe I should want the Quilled Wolf more. I guess at this point, I have to use the Gargoyle. Well, no, I could do that now. All right. I still think Gargoyle's probably overall a better mana sink than Quilled Wolf. Hmm. Jeez. Just can't draw a land for the life of us here, huh? So I guess we can go Mass Infiltrator. Swing with the Deep Fiend. Let's see, how many things can I swing with here? Because I don't have to tap anything. So I can swing with Deep Fiend, Creeper, Quilled Wolf. And I'll still have Mass Infiltrator, Gargoyle, Dryad. That's hopefully enough. Ooh, that's pretty rough for us. Pretty amazing for my opponent, though. Alright. Things happen. Play the Mass, play the Infiltrator, and pass. Well, my Infiltrator can attack unimpeded right now. Oh, geez. That's scary. Do you have a legend to search up, too? Okay. Well, I guess that's good. Seem to be having a bit of a land problem. Jeez. Guess we swing with Infiltrator, see if we can find that pesky land. Wow. That's harsh. These are last card, too. Harsh. So let's say my opponent attacks everything, taps Deep Fiend. Am I dead? I can't block this. I block this on this. I block this on this. And I block this, chumping this. So kill this, chump this, or turn that into a permeating mass. Block there. I take 4, I go to 1. It's pretty awful. Guess that's the way the cookie crumbles when you can't draw lands. We did a lot on 3 lands. This definitely seems like a match we could have won. Or a game, rather, we could have won had we drawn lands. So, Topplegeist Delirium now. That's a problem. What did my opponent grab off of it? Byway Courier? Alright. I mean, I guess I should be thankful they're playing it so safe, but I'm still not in good shape. So counter this. I don't care if my opponent knows about Deny Existence. So now with land, am I still dead? I play Geistfield Scarecrow. I'm at 4 creatures. My opponent attacks with everything. I do die. Let's make them do it. Somehow I love that I played an Elder Deep Fiend off of 3 lands. Well, once again, pretty thankful my opponent's playing it safe. They definitely could have killed us there. So now I can't even play the Stormrider Spirit. Well, I can, but I have to tap my... Alright. Stupid Geistfield Scarecrow. Alright, we're dead. We're dead. Man, that was a painful game. I don't know why it took us so long. So I flash this out. At this point, I block 3 things, right? 3 biggest things. Block there, block there, block there. I'm dead. Alright. Alright, we're dead. Stupid lands. Alright. Opponent seems beatable, though. There are definitely some good cards in there, but opponent's deck still seems beatable. I don't mind having the Convolute and Deny Existence still. Clip Wings for Topplegeist. No other flyer. Topplegeist was certainly good there. Took a while, though. Feels like kind of a waste. This Permeating Mass could have actually been good. Alright, I think we leave it alone. When you don't have removal, I think you have to play counter spells. Alright, yes, we can keep this hand. It's actually not a bad hand. Not a bad hand at all. We get to go Creeper into Bloodbriar, potentially into Scarecrow, which is nice. Eventually into Behemoth. So, we have a good turn progression. Ooh, opponent's curving out too, though. So, still just going to slam Scarecrow next turn because it's a big threat. Opponent can keep it tapped down, obviously, but it costs them a land too. Alright, well, I guess I'd rather them Choking Restraints there than... my Scarecrow. Actually, choking restraints on a Scarecrow is so brutal. All your stuff's more expensive and you just can't get rid of the thing. Well, I can get rid of the thing. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. So next turn, if I play the Scarecrow, well, that's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to be a turn behind on my Behemoth because of the Scarecrow. But I want a Scarecrow this turn. We need a beat stick. Or at least something that keeps one of my opponent's mana up. I mean, technically I could sack the Scarecrow to play the Behemoth. That is an option. Well, that's cool, I guess. I could surprise block that Fiendbinder or the Priest if my opponent attacks with it. It's not bad. Like I said, I have to sack the Scarecrow. I don't love that. I'd rather just sack our dude next turn. So we'll play the Gargoyle. Remember, Emerge, you have to cast the spell still. So we pay our extra cost, but next turn we can sack the Bloodbriar and we can surprise block with a Behemoth. And it enters with Hexproof, so we don't even have to worry about the Priest. That is pretty slick, actually. And Scarecrow is going to stop beating down, I suppose, because opponent's just going to leave something up here, but we should be able to eat that Fiendbinder, ideally. So we know opponent's got Pack Guardian in there somewhere. Thing is, I kind of want them to attack with Fiendbinder. Alright, I think that we pass here, though. It feels like a Pack Guardian to me. And here's the thing. At worst, I can still... My opponent might get a little ambitious here. We'll see. Like, basically, I need this Behemoth to do some work for us, but... Between Behemoth and Scarecrow, we should be able to beat down pretty effectively. And remember, I have Gargoyle, too. Alright. So what's cool about this is I can flip my Gargoyle. Okay. So we are going to flip the Gargoyle now. Convolute. Well, not the worst. Not the very worst. Alright, so opponent's going to tap something here. Alright. We'll swing with our Scarecrow. So, problem now is we're going to flip my opponent's Solitary Hunter, but I think that's what we got to do here. I actually can't counter a Always Watching, but that's alright. Always Watching with Guardian Priest is so good. So sadly, I need... Okay. That's actually... It's actually fine. left up always watching mana. Man, that would suck if that was their last card. But like I said, I could still eat the Fiendbinder or the Priest. Why re-equip? Huh. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, well, leaving up the 1 mana for the Priest. Didn't attack with the Topplgeist either. So, that happens. We're going to play the Behemoth. And remember, it's got hexproof. So, we'll... Concession? Jeez, I guess we'll take it. I mean, I don't know why you conceded. You can still tap something down. It's not like I can smash with Behemoth. That was a very odd concession. All right. How did we manage to get no... I didn't take a root out. That'd be nice, this matchup. Take out the Choking Restraints or the True Fate Sensor. Do I want the Fragment again? I mean, considering I got kind of screwed there again, maybe I do play Fragment. Over what, though? I don't know. Wicker Witch? I kind of like these 3-drops for Emerge value. I want my counter spells too, even on the draw. Just the complete and utter lack of interaction I have with my opponent kind of makes counter spells better. All right, let's just forego the Fragment plan. I'm trying to think of... I just want a bunch of cheap creatures because these Scarecrows can be a liability against a deck that's got Choking Restraints and a deck that's got Sigardian Priests. So my opponent's deck has both, but Scarecrow's still just too important to consider cutting. Oh, geez, this is kind of awkward. So, no green mana. It's probably our best creature in the game, and then a counterspell on turn 3. On the draw, I think we mulligan. Alright, this hand's certainly better. At least we have both colors, so we can play spells that we do draw. And we have Bloodbriar, which obviously works well in tandem with Elder Deep Fiend. Ooh, let's bottom that little bad boy. Sure. Did my opponent skip their first turn? I believe they did. What's funny is my opponent could still very easily win. Even skipping their first turn on a mull to 5. Because it's not like our hand is particularly abusive here. And our deck is, you know, power levels wise, not particularly insane. Plus we're just drawing lands here, so this could spell some real trouble. Thing is, I don't want to sack my Bloodbriar to a Deep Fiend. That's the issue. But maybe I just do it. Maybe I just do it. If I draw another land, I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it. All right. Now we won't. Now we shall not. All right. Opponent's doing some stuff and things here. Lashweed Lurker. That's pretty insane, actually. So pump, and we'll put the priest, I guess, the priest back in the deck. Opponent concede again. All right. Opponent has just had enough of our mediocrity, even though they passed their first turn in game 3 for no apparent reason. So we'll take our mediocrity and we'll take our victory. We'll see you in the finals.